everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of my Book Buddyathon reading vlog. So Book Buddyathon is a month-long readathon going on the month of June, and it is hosted by Elena from Elena Reads Books, and I will link her announcement video down below. But the whole premise of it is basically to pair up with somebody. It can be somebody in the booktube community, somebody in your real life, anybody, and do a set of challenges and etc. So I will link my TBR down below, but my buddy is Kerryn from Rather Be Reading, and I'm going to try to knock out all of the prompts this week. So the first book I am going to read is Save the Date, which is our buddy read. So that is one of the prompts, buddy read a book with your buddy. And so I'm going to pick up Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and I am like a chapter or two in. It's been a crazy day, so I haven't gotten very far, but it's about a girl who has a bunch of siblings and they're all coming together for her sister's wedding. So I think it's going to be really fun. Morgan Matson does relationships really well, and in this one I think it's going to be the family relationships. There's one brother whose story we don't really know, but it's got a little like sketchiness, so I'm just really interested to find out what's going on and find out more. So that is what I'm reading. As for today, it's Monday, June 15th. This morning we had Annie's newborn checkup, and so she did wonderful with that. Then we took some books back to the library, and then we just got home from an orthopedic appointment for me, because if you've been watching my vlogs, I had like a knotted muscle and then which turned into a pinched nerve, and then I gave birth. So it was in my glute, and so birth was not a helpful thing. So I just went in, got x-rays to make sure nothing was like broken or anything, and it's not. He said there's likely a bunch of tears in there, but there's like smaller muscles, like the big muscles he would guess are intact. He didn't do an MRI to check, but so there's a bunch of tears in the smaller muscles potentially, and otherwise it's just super irritated, knotted up. So I'm going to be doing some physical therapy for a while and getting some treatment that way, and continuing to take some medication to see if we can get it to calm down. And yeah, so I'm glad nothing is wrong. I'm a little bummed that it's kind of a long solution. It's going to take a while just to get it calmed down. Taking an already irritated glute and then giving birth was probably not the best thing, but what do you do? So that's the situation. Now I'm home. It's like 4:20. I'm gonna go feed Annie, get Ainsley up, and then hopefully do some good reading tonight. So that's the plan. I will update later. Bye. Hey everyone, it's about 11:30 on Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is, but I just thought I'd get on and let you know that I am still reading Save the Date by Morgan Matson. I'm almost halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. Morgan Matson, like I said, she just has a way of writing relationships, and this one is a familial relationship. The mom is actually a comic writer, and she writes about this big family that they have. There's 5 kids, and I wish this comic were a real thing. Like, I would totally read it. It's just about the musings of a big family, and it is totally making me like, maybe 5 kids wouldn't be terrible. Although, like, I think my biological clock is a little too old for that. So I don't know if 5 kids are in the cards for me, but it is making me crave a big family. So I'm really enjoying it. It is about this wedding. The oldest sister is getting married, and like, I thought it was going to be all about like this wedding and how everything goes wrong and whatever, and it sort of is, but it's about so much more than that. And I think there's going to be a love triangle, but the person that I think is going to be the love interest, it's like I'm almost halfway through and there's no chemistry, no interaction really between the 2 characters yet. So I don't know. She's kind of got a crush on this other boy, and so far so good. Right now, Ainsley and Jeremy are going to grocery pickup into the park, and so he just called, though. The parks have just recently reopened a couple days ago, and I guess they haven't like taken care of them at all, so there's no, like, there's a bunch of weeds and bugs, and so that is going on. It's also pretty warm outside, so I'm thinking they won't be gone very long, but it's reminding me like a newborn is so much easier than a 2-year-old. With your first kid, it's like every stage is like, whoa, this is a lot going on. But now it's like, give me 6 newborns. I'll trade you for that 2-year-old. Not that she's like a terrible kid. It's just a lot more demanding at that stage. Whereas at this stage, it's like, feed her, change her diaper, she's good. So that's really what's going on. Today is just a home chill day. I finally exercised this morning because this hip glute issue, the doctor, basically said whatever. And so it's not feeling better by just like sitting around. So I thought maybe trying to move it. So I did some elliptical with low intensity, just kind of what felt good. And it still really hurts. And so I don't know if that made it worse or better or no effect. I don't know. So mentally it really helped me because my hour of exercise a day is just totally my zen time. I love it so much. And so getting back into that a little bit feels really, really good. So I think I hear Annie whining over there. So I'm going to go get her and just hang out and keep reading until the big kid gets home. Hey everyone, it is about noon on Wednesday, and I am just getting on to let you know that I finished Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a family that there's 5 kids, and they all come back together because one of them is getting married. And they have like this iconic family home where it's a huge house. It's the house they've all grown up in, and the youngest kid is Charlie, and she's 17. Just about to go to college. So after this wedding, they are selling the house. Parents are moving out. Everybody's spreading, going their different ways. And so this is really like an end of an era. And Charlie loves her big siblings so much. And so she is just so excited to spend this time with the 5 of them and just do that. And so they come together. The mom writes a comic strip for the local newspaper or something about the family, and each kid has a character that mirrors them and it's grown with them, and the comic is also ending because the kids are all going to be grown. So it's really the end of an era. So this big family comes off as this perfect Leave It to Beaver family. They love each other. Everything's great. Everything's perfect. But that is not how it actually is. In Charlie's eyes, that is how it is. But we learn throughout the book that there's some rifts. One of the brothers is kind of estranged, and he comes back, and we learn why. There's some other things going on. This book reminded me so much of the Family Stone, that movie. They're coming together for the wedding instead of Christmas, and the kind of emotional bit at the end is not the same. But yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. And so if you like that movie, I would say definitely check out this book. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I loved buddy reading with Kerryn. This is a Morgan Matson book. It's a pretty light summary read. I mean, there are definitely some deeper things. And Morgan Matson, I just feel like she can do relationships so well. And in this one, it's mostly the family relationships that are really explored. But she just makes characters, especially YA characters, that are very relatable. There's this boy that Charlie, it's one of the brothers' best friends. She's had a crush on him forever, and their relationship is a very real dynamic, I think, that happens with teenagers. And just his character is, I knew guys like that in high school, and it just all felt very, very real and very authentic. There's a very emotional scene near the end that I felt like, I feel like I could feel like I was there, and it just felt very authentic. Despite never having been in that situation, I could feel the emotions, and the interactions were things I would really believe. So I gave it 4 stars, highly enjoyed it, really enjoyed reading it with Kerryn from Rather Be Reading. We got into some deeper discussions about things, and that's why I told her, I said, forget anybody that says YA can't spawn deeper thoughts, because there's a lot of really interesting family dynamics. And one of the brothers brings a girlfriend in, and a new girlfriend to the wedding, and it's talking, we just see that dynamic play out of how hard it is to come into a family like that is so tight-knit and has so many not secrets, and has so many inside jokes, and just such a history of being so tight-knit. And so I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say about that. I also, last night, Annie, when she was up and stuff, I watched Puddin', the movie, and that's one of the prompts, is watch an adaptation with your buddy. So we're both going to watch that and talk about it. And I think it's one that I actually enjoy the movie more than the book. I just feel like the movie was able to make it a little more cohesive, because my problem with the book is that it felt like the first half it was something completely different, and then the second half was the pageant, and I just felt like the movie was a little more cohesive, and I liked seeing it play out that way. That being said, I just don't really love movies, and so watching it in chunks like I did last night was probably the only way I would get through it, and it wasn't one that I would have any desire to rewatch just because I don't really like movies. So got that challenge checked off. As far as the other challenges, I don't have the sheet in front of me, but Kerryn and I have been talking at least every day, it seems like. So we're definitely doing the Talk to Your Buddy every week. We are watching the adaptation together. I can't remember what the other ones are, but yeah, we are just knocking through them. So next I picked up Remembering Everly, and this is the second in the Lost and Found series by J.L. Berg. I read Forgetting August, the first one, during last month during a readathon. I can't remember which one, but it doesn't matter. This one is the second one. So in the first one, it's about August. We get the perspective of both August and Everly. They were a couple. Something happened to put August into a coma, and so then August comes out of the coma, and they, like, Everly kind of has to make him remember because he's got amnesia, and so she has to make him remember life. Now, he was a terrible guy, I guess, very abusive, not a good dude, and so and she's engaged to somebody else because he's been in a coma for like 2 years. And so navigating that and like her bitterness or resentment or pain from their relationship, but then this guy who has no idea about any of it and is just very kind and gentle, supposedly, that was the first book. So now at the very end of the first book, he says he gets all his memories back, and things are a little more complicated than they think. So now this book, we also get August and Everly's perspective, and I don't really want to say a whole lot about where they are, what's going on, but now I'm thinking we're going to get to see, like, not just the sugar-coated version of their relationship. Like, hopefully we'll get to see more of what it was like. So that is what I'm reading now. That fits the challenge of reading a book with your buddy's favorite color. Her favorite color is purple, and this one has some purple on it, so that's what I'm reading now. And I think they're relatively short, between 300 and 400 pages. I'm not really sure. So hopefully I'll finish that today. As for the day, we just got up. It's really interesting because I am a very, very, very routine person. I like to do the same things like every day and have some routines. And as far as just like the structure of the day, not necessarily like the exact things that we do. But so my prior routine was I would get up about 5:30, 5:45, eat breakfast real quick, go work out, shower, and then get my daughter up and start the day that way. Well, now it's like you have to figure out how to get all that in with the nursing schedule that's going on, because Annie eats like every 2 to 2.5 hours, and so like as soon as she's done eating, I'm like, okay, clock's ticking. So this morning she ate, like, and I fed her right after Ainsley got up when Ainsley was eating, and so then Jeremy, she was sleeping, Ainsley was eating, so I went downstairs and exercised. I am still having quite a bit of pain from this hip issue, and so now I'm sitting outside of physical therapy. I went, and she said that basically my SI joint and like my whole hip alignment and pelvis alignment is so off that really any stretches or anything are going to be very, very painful. So I need to see a chiropractor before we can really even do physical therapy, just because everything's so out of whack. So called a chiropractor, got an appointment for tomorrow morning. Now I'm going to go home, make lunch. I don't know if I said I'm feeding Annie right now, so I'm going to go make lunch for the rest of us, and then just kind of take it easy this afternoon, I think. I don't think we have any plans. So hopefully get some good reading done while I'm kind of posted up on the couch. Walking around or like heavy weight-bearing things are the most painful, so what I've been doing it for exercise just the past 2 days, the only days I've done it, is elliptical on like very low resistance, just to get some motion in there, because that it actually feels a little bit better than sitting around. Like, I feel like when I sit around, it really tightens up. So yeah, I don't know, but walking is way more painful than the elliptical. I can't figure that out, but I guess it's just more weight bearing or something, I don't know. So that is my super long update for today. I will check in when I have more to say about Remembering Everly.
Hey everyone, it's about 4 o'clock and the girls are both waking up right now, so I'm gonna have to make this super quick. So I am like 120 pages into Remembering Everly, and so far I am really, really enjoying it. This is, like I said, just about August is getting his memories back. So we are still in current time though, and we're seeing August and what he's doing for Everly and how she's kind of coping with things and what's going on. And I'm just really enjoying this. I have not read very much and I'm 120 pages in. So this is a very quick read, and I can't wait to get back to it. So this afternoon, like I said, it's 4 o'clock. Both girls are getting up. We're going to get them settled, and my dad's going to come over because today is his birthday. So we have a little gift for him, and we're just going to hang out in the front yard for a few minutes and then do dinner, and that will be the night. So I will get on probably tomorrow and let you know what I think of Remembering Everly.
Hey everyone, it is Thursday and I'm just about to leave the chiropractor. My appointment went really well. Our chiropractor is actually our neighbor and he's just a really fun guy. So it was nice to go in there and get adjusted and then lay on some ice, and he seems to know exactly what's going on, and so that makes me feel really good. And I'm going back tomorrow to try to get this under control, and so that is good. Last night / this morning I finished Remembering Everly by Jailberg. This one is the follow-up to Forgetting August, which I think I've already talked about. And we do get some of the things that I was talking about, like we get some explanation of their relationship prior to like this coma accident thing that happened. But like the first one ends on this huge cliffhanger, and we only get like a little bit of that. Like the conflict in this book is something completely different, which is interesting, but it's just not quite what I wanted. The whole plot is very, very predictable, and there was just tons of filler. It was almost 400 pages long, and it did not need to be. And I just thought, it was very, very, very predictable. And the way the first one ended, I thought this is going to be twisty, it's going to be crazy, and it just wasn't. And so 3 stars. It was still good, just really nothing great. And so that is what I finished. And then I picked up Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, and I'm not very far into that, so I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but that is what's been going on. So now I'm going to go home. My sister is out on a walk with Ainsley, and Jeremy has Annie alone for the first time. So she's doing good. I fed her right before I left, so she's just kind of sleeping and hanging out. And now I'm going to go home. And the chiropractor said, try not to walk for 12 to 24 hours, and then I'll be back in here tomorrow. And so it could be a weird afternoon. I don't know. I need like one of those bells or whatever. And poor Jeremy's going to be high on the honeydew list. So that's the day, but that hopefully means a lot of good reading. I don't know, the mom guilt, like for those of you who have multiple kids, tell me how you deal with it, because it's just so hard to, first of all, be in this much pain and not be able to like run around with my 2-year-old. But then like, especially now, to be like, I'm just going to sit on the couch, probably with Annie. Like I just am really scared of like breeding resentment, and it's just sad, and like I don't want to make her sad, and I don't know, I'm probably way overthinking it, but mom guilt is real. But hopefully some good couch time, some good reading time, and get this pain under control. So that's the plan. We'll check in later. Hey everyone, it is Friday, and for the first time ever, I'm not like TGIF. I am kind of like have the Sunday blues on this Friday, because I think Jeremy's going to go back to work on Monday, and I'm just not sure how that's going to work out. So for the first time, I've been like, let's let this week just drag on as long as possible. But that also means Annie is a week old, and it just goes so fast. And especially now, after having my 2-year-old, knowing how quick the cuddle times go and all of that, I'm like sad already that she's a week old. Like for me, that's like a big deal. So that is what's going on life-wise. I'm just about to get home from the chiropractor. I went yesterday and today, and then I'm going to go Monday and just go a lot next week, see if we can get my body kind of back in alignment and feeling a little bit better, so at least I can move. And that's really what's going on right now as far as life. And otherwise, last night we had a night where there was both kids screaming. We had dinner like an hour and a half late. Everybody was just melting down. It was our first like, that parenting is tough. And we were kind of divide and conquer, and we made it through. Everybody's good. It was just a trying evening, and so both kids went to bed, and I stress ate cereal, so whatever, we're fine. Anyway, I finished Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi last night because we also didn't have the best night of sleeping, so we were up a fair amount. And so I finished it, and I am happy to say the second half is way better than the first half. So I think my rating is going to be 3.5 stars. This book is not what I really expected. It's about a girl who goes to college, and her roommate has this uncle named Sam. And Sam is just like a few years older than them. He's not very old. And there's kind of a connection, that like an attraction, I guess, there. Like Sam is super dreamy, and but he's super small. Like I had a really hard time kind of picturing him. And I don't know, like ethnicity wise, what he was. I think our main character is half Korean. But like some of the descriptions of Sam, I just was a little confused about. So I'm not sure, but anyway, so she has this big crush on him, whatever, and then he has a panic attack, and she is there to help him. And so they exchange numbers and become each other's emergency contact. And they talk about it almost like it's like a panic attack, because she has had panic attacks too, so she understands what that's like. And so they talk about like basically being each other's like panic go-to kind of person. And so they start this text relationship, and it's just their relationship from that point forward. And I read other reviews, and I agree very much with other people that said like this relationship is just so underdeveloped that like the only romantic thing we got is knowing that our main character is super attracted to Sam. Like we don't really ever see Sam, like why Sam, like what Sam's attraction to her is. Like we don't see it, we don't feel it. The text relationships are good for a friendship, I guess, but it's just really hard to make the jump to a relationship. And so then when it happens, it's like, this just doesn't quite make sense. Our main character also, she's a little snarky and a little judgmental. I can see why people don't like her. She makes some rash judgments about like people's sexuality and different things like that. There are also quite a few trigger warnings in this book. Specifically rape is a big one that just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't really expect that. So if that is a big trigger for you, maybe skip this book. But overall, I enjoyed it. I think, like I said, it's going to be 3.5 stars. I like the second half a lot better. It took like half the book for them to even like start this text relationship, and I thought it was going to be more about that. So that's just a little bit of expectations. And yeah, the first half was really just kind of setting the scene, and it was pretty slow. And so decent book. Glad I read it, and that's that. So then I picked up physically My Last Kiss by Bethany Neal. And because the only things I've left are, and Emergency Contact was my substitute for Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. And it is a book about friendship. And so that's what prompted that fulfilled. I subbed it in because I'm going to read Josh and Hazel for something different. So if you saw my TBR, that's a little different. But so now I'm reading My Last Kiss by Bethany Neal, which is the one that Kerryn picked for me off my TBR, because I have on Goodreads a shelf that says like on my bookshelf, and so I told her pick any of those, and this is one she has debated reading, but she can't get a copy of it for like a reasonable price. Everything is super expensive to buy it, so she wants me to read it to see if it's worth buying, and so that's what I'm going to do. However, I only have it physically. I don't have any sort of access to e-copy, audio copy, anything. And so that's really hard, because right now the only times I'm reading are when I'm nursing, and so holding like a physical book is hard because I really only have one hand because the other hand's with the baby, or at night. And so I don't know. I'm really going to try to sneak it in. It is YA. It's about a girl who I'm at the very beginning, so I don't really know a whole lot, but I know dies, and it's like she is watching, like she can see everything. She can see her dead body down there. She can and she was maybe murdered. We don't really know. And she can't remember any of like her last night. And so she doesn't know who her last kiss was with. And she remembers her first kiss, but not her last kiss. And I think they're like very close together. I think her first kiss, like we got to see that. And I think it was just relatively recently because she just turned 17 right before she died. So it's a YA. I'm hoping it'll read really quickly. So far I've read the first few chapters, and it's like 360-ish pages, and there's like 20 some chapters, and so the chapters are kind of long, but then there's like broken up in within there, there's like different things that aren't chapters, but they're function like chapters. I am not making any sense, but my point is that it's like short breaks, and so I think that will help make it go really quick. So that and Saga are the only things I have left. And today I put, because I have Saga on Hoopla, and I just don't like reading on, like, I don't like reading graphic novels on a digital thing. Like, I want to have it in my hands. So I got on my library's website a couple days ago and requested it. It was in stock, whatever. And they're a little bit slower in turnaround. So now my appointment to pick it up is today at 3, I think. And so my husband's going to do that for me so I can stay home with the girls while Ainsley is napping and Annie's doing whatever she does. And so he's going to go get that for me. And then I can read Saga either today or tomorrow or something. My goal is to have both of these books done by the end of the weekend. And since it's only Friday, that should be easy. But also they're both physical. So meanwhile, while I don't have an audiobook going on, my goal is just to catch up on BookTube. So I am watching a ton of BookTube right now because I have a lot of time where I'm cooking or getting ready. If you see, I like had this goal of just straightening my hair. Like, I just feel like I needed it done like clean and straight to just feel a little more human. And so this morning I did it, and it feels so good. Like, it's just one of those weird things that's like just a self-care thing to have clean, straight, nice hair. And so I did that this morning. But so the whole time I'm getting ready, I normally listen to an audiobook, but this time I just had BookTube playing, and it really feels good because I'm like 2.5, 3 weeks behind, and so I'm catching up. But I am now in our driveway, and so I'm gonna go in, feed Annie. It's like noon. I'm starving, but I'm gonna feed her, and then we'll eat lunch. We have a plumber coming today because I don't know how much I've talked about it, but we have had this issue going on for like months. Our sink drain doesn't work. One of the bathrooms upstairs, it doesn't work. And like all of this started in February. And they, like the company we have worked with, it's a American Home Shield. I don't know if that's across the country or what that is, but basically when you buy a house, you can get this, you can pay, the sellers paid for this American Home Shield. And so for a year, anything that goes wrong in our house, we have to pay $75 and they'll come out and fix it. And that's it. So we had to get a whole new faucet, do a whole bunch of things to the drain upstairs, whatever. But this all started in February. They ordered the wrong parts, and then la-di-da-di-da. Then coronavirus hit, so we were like, okay, let's wait like a month before we have people in our house because it's all over our house. And so now they're coming for like the 3rd or 4th time, and hopefully the last time. And so they're coming between 10 and 12. Well, it's 12:12 right now, and they called and said 30 more minutes. So that is what's going on today. I will update when I have more reading done. Hey guys, it is about 5:30 on Saturday, and we've kind of had a busy day / I haven't really had that much to update. So this morning, the girls had newborn pictures, and so we got some with just Annie and some with Annie and Ainsley, and it was really fun. I really am hopeful that we got some good ones because Ainsley was just awesome. Weren't ya? Yeah, big sister did a very nice job taking pictures. So I am excited to see how those turn out. And then otherwise, I have just been trying to read My Last Kiss by Bethany Neal all day. And I have 80 pages left, so I may finish it tonight, if not first thing in the morning. But I've read like 200 pages or something today. Like I said, this one is about a girl who finds herself dead. Like, she can see that she is dead. She can see her body. She like drowned in a river, and we don't know. She supposedly jumped off this bridge. We don't know if she jumped, if she was pushed. We don't know. And so there's one person that can see her, and her friends are trying to figure out what happened to her because the police have said it's a suicide. She was drunk, whatever, like just kind of brushed it off. And her friends know she would not have killed herself. And there were people on the bridge with her when she fell. And so we don't really know what happened. So this book is good. It's YA. It's reading very quickly. So far it's like 3.5 stars. I don't know. It depends. The end can make it or break it. I think I have known since like halfway through this book who did it, but I don't really know. like I said earlier, like with her being able to communicate and see this one person, it gave me like that Days of Our Lives vibe. But there's a movie from the 90s, maybe even earlier, that I can't think, maybe it's Drop Dead Fred, that this is reminding me a lot of, like just where she's there and like she can talk to this one person, and so she's like trying to get this person to talk for her, and I don't know, it's interesting, it's fun. Overall, very good. And then as soon as I finish that, I'm gonna pick up Saga Volume 1, and then Book Buddyathon will be done. So that is the plan. We are outside playing with the water table. I'm gonna go inside here soon and make dinner, and then we're gonna eat and just hang out and have a relatively early bedtime, I hope. We're just all kind of tired, and so hopefully early bedtime. We'll check in later. It is 11 o'clock on Sunday, and we are just leaving the park, so I thought I'd give you an update. Last night I got to within 40 pages of finishing My Last Kiss by Bethany Neal, and Annie was asleep, and so I knew I had like 2 hours or less probably to sleep, so I put it down, went to sleep, and then this morning I picked it up and finished it, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. I liked it, but I didn't love it. It was very YA, very, like, I think as a 17-year-old, I might have liked it a little bit better, but as a 31-year-old, it was just okay. It was full of teen drama and just a lot of angst. So, like I said a million times, this book is about a girl who dies, sees herself, and then spends the rest of the book trying to figure out what happened to her, because she doesn't have memories of, like, the days she died. And so she like goes through and figures out she's got 2 best girlfriends, and there's like just a whole group of them that hang out, and so they're all kind of suspects. And I knew, like I had said in an earlier clip, I thought I knew who it was, and I was right. It was very, very predictable, and then the whole like end scene was just so much drama, and so it was okay. Again, I've compared this to Days of Our Lives and Drop Dead Fred. I also want to throw in The Lovely Bones, because it is very similar to that, where somebody, you know, is dead and there is trying to figure out. It's been years since I've read that one, but yeah, so this was good. The main character is Cassidy, and she is very, very unlikable. She gets herself in this love triangle that is so frustrating and silly, and just her like thought process is really annoying. Most of the characters in this book actually are very unlikable, and there's one of her girlfriends that is nice, and then her boyfriend is really great, but other than that, everyone else is kind of meh. So I would say 3 stars. If you are a younger reader, give it a shot. If you haven't read a whole lot of mystery thrillers and you like YA mystery thrillers, maybe give it a shot, but otherwise I think there's probably better. It did capture the teen like aspect really well, like the environment of a party and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it did pretty well. So like I said, we're just leaving the park, and I sat with Annie and started Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan. And so far, I think the artwork is beautiful, but the actual story is just not my thing. I kind of knew that going in. It's very sci-fi, and graphic novels are pretty hit and miss for me. I really like Lucy Nicely, and like then of course like the Babysitters Club ones and that kind of stuff, but for the most part graphic novels are hard for me to get into. So I am going to finish this later. We're gonna go home right now, watch church, eat lunch, and then I'll probably finish this during nap time, and I will finish up this vlog. So this is my last challenge for Book Buddyathon, because this is one that Kerryn has given 5 stars. She is a lot more into sci-fi fantasy kind of stuff than I am, so I'm not surprised she liked this. I have heard from people who like graphic novels or like sci-fi that this is a very, very good one. I think just it's not for me, but I'm like, it's a short enough commitment that I'm really happy I'm trying it. So I will check in later and let you know what I think. Hey everyone, it is later on Sunday, and I just finished Saga Volume 1, and I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. I totally can see why people would like this. It's about a man and a woman from like rival planets. One's from a planet, one's from a moon, and they are like at war. And so these 2 people come together and have a baby, which is very, very forbidden. So the like government is trying to track them down because that's not allowed, and so it's them running, trying to protect their baby and their family. and I thought it was really sweet. It was just very, I just have a hard time getting into sci-fi. So it's a me problem, not a graphic novel problem. I think the book is so pretty. The artwork is very good. And overall, I really enjoyed it. So that is my wrap up for the Book Buddyathon. It seems like it's gone by really quick, but I read all the books that I had set out for prompts. And Kerryn and I have talked every day. I've watched Puddin'. She hasn't watched it yet. Or Dumplin', not Puddin'. Dumplin', and she hasn't watched it yet, so we haven't talked about that. And we haven't done like some of the other challenges, like the sharing or liking a post, or like giving each other quizzes or whatever. We have talked about the books, so I think that counts as like sharing parts of your book or whatever. So we have done most of it. The other little challenges will just kind of happen as the month goes along, but as far as the reading goes, it's done. So we have very similar tastes, but clearly some differences in regards to like sci-fi and stuff. I am definitely more in the romance women's fiction camp, and she's a little bit more in the sci-fi camp, but we both really have similar tastes when it comes to romance and women's fiction, as well as like thrillers and that kind of stuff. So if you have not checked out Kerryn from Rather Be Reading, please do. She is wonderful. Aside from what she reads, she's just so entertaining, so wonderful, so kind. Highly recommend you check her out. So that is it. Thank you to the hosts of this readathon. I sure love doing it, and I think it's just a great idea. So that is it. If you've read any of the books I read, let me know what you think. And if you've done Book Buddyathon, let me know how it's going for you, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.